Our next recipe is a spicy carrot soup. This is an amazing recipe. It's a little spicy, it's a little sweet, so it's a perfect combination of the two. We're going to blend this soup in a blender, so we're using a Vitamix today, and our first ingredient will be 3 cups of carrots. Okay, so we have carrot here. We've gone ahead and pre-cut the carrots. You're going to want to get that started for your blender. So we have 3 cups of carrots. Okay, these bright colored fruits and vegetables are full of antioxidants. And your carrots, of course, are full of vitamin A, or the precursor to vitamin A, and they're great for your eyesight. Great for eyesight there. So we've got 3 cups of carrots. Our next ingredient is 1.5 cups of celery. Of course, this is what celery looks like in the store. You can find this in your produce section of your grocery store, and we're just going to take some of the stalks off of there. So we want about, for 1.5 cups, they vary in size. That might be about 2 stalks or more. And we have that pre-cut for you. So 1.5 cups of celery. We're going to go ahead and add that to our blender. Excellent. I'm just going to hold off, do that. And your celery is full of natural sodium. So wherever you can add celery into these recipes, it's really, really great for you. Natural sodium is wonderful, especially if you're out exercising a lot or sweating. You want to replenish those electrolytes. So celery is a very good source of electrolytes. So eat celery whenever you can. The next ingredient in this recipe will be 2 dates. Now, this is a medjool date. These are the dates that we're using in this recipe, but any kind of date will do. That you can pick them up at your grocery store. Sometimes they're in the produce section, sometimes they're in other areas of the store. So check the produce section first, and if they're not there, you may want to ask someone at the store where else they may be located, but usually they are in the produce section. So this is called a medjool date, but any kind of date will do. And inside the date itself is a pit, and you definitely don't want to bite into that, and you definitely don't want to put that in your blender. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to squeeze it. They're very, very soft, and when I squeeze it in the center, you'll see that there's this pit, and it just comes right out. So we're going to want to make sure that we discard this pit. We don't want that in our blender. So that is how to take the pit out of a date, and then of course you can eat this or use this in your recipe. We have gone ahead and soaked our dates in water for a few hours, and what this does is this softens the date up. Now the date I just showed you was actually very soft already, so this may be a step that is not necessary, but sometimes if dates have been sitting for a while on the shelf or in your home, they might not be as moist. So if they're dry, you'll especially want to go ahead and soak them in a little water, as we've done here, and that will actually help soften them up. So I have 2 dates that have been soaking in water, and I'm just going to remove the dates. I'm not going to use this water in the recipe, but that water is very sweet and very healthy, so you can actually drink that or put that in your fridge and save that for later. This recipe and the next ingredient calls for 1 clove of garlic. So we have garlic. It's already been pre-minced for us. This is 1 clove of garlic. Going to add that in there to help support our immune system. 1 clove of garlic. It calls for 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. So I have pre-juiced some fresh lemons. So I'm going to add that lemon juice into the blender. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay, so your cinnamon, you're going to find your cinnamon where they have the herbs and spices in your grocery store. Cinnamon is excellent. It's excellent with carrots. I love cinnamon and carrots together. But cinnamon will help regulate your blood sugar. So if you have conditions such as diabetes, cinnamon is very, very helpful for diabetics and to help heal and stabilize blood sugar in those of us who are challenged with diabetes. Then our next ingredient is a 1/2 teaspoon of dulse flakes. your dulse and your kelp flakes. You can use either. We're using dulse here. Your dulse is full of trace minerals, which are often missing from our fruits and vegetables, especially if they're not organically grown. So you're going to want to add in trace sources of those minerals anywhere you can. So we're using dulse flakes. It adds a little bit of a salty flavor to the recipe, so it'll bring out those flavors. So we're adding our dulse flakes here. Okay, it's a half a teaspoon. And you'll find dulse flakes either with the herbs and spices in your grocery store or in the Asian food section of your grocery store. The next ingredient is just a pinch of cayenne pepper. If you're like me, you can add a little bit more, but we're just going to put a pinch in here today. So a pinch of cayenne pepper to help support our circulation and our circulatory system. That is optional, although personally I don't think it's optional, but if you don't like spice, just remember that cayenne pepper, a little bit goes a long way. It's very, very spicy, and the longer it sits in the soup, the more the spice will come out. So just a little pinch if you're not big on spice. And our last ingredient for this recipe is water. Okay, so we have 1 to 2 cups of water. Excuse me. Just going to add that straight into our blender. And of course, we're using a purified water for our spicy carrot soup. We don't want to use tap water. Today we're using an alkaline water because we say an alkaline system is a healthy system. So we want to alkalize the body as much as possible. But a purified water will do if that's what you can find easily in your grocery store. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on and warm this up. All right, and of course, the longer I blend this soup, the warmer it's going to get. So if I want a cool soup, then I don't need to blend it for too long. But if I want a warmer soup, then warming it up in the blender by keeping that running is perfect. It'll warm it up perfectly for you. So we've gone ahead and blended that up. Let me set this aside. And there's a bowl. You're going to go ahead and pour the soup into your bowl. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, gorgeous. And there we have spicy carrot soup. Enjoy.